I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Awesome,
Jeff,
absolutely. we were
How we
just we were
doing,
just mentioning.
Tammy?
we are good. We are good, Jeff.
Good. Good.
I love it. Well, we're so excited to have you on here today and talk about your team going forward. We were just mentioning the kind of unique situation that you were put in this offseason, not having any full-time starters returning to your team. And I'm just wondering, I want to talk about it. How do you go about, handling that much of a haul in the offseason and figuring out how you're going to make this work coming up?
Well, we'll have 5 new starters for one, which will be fun. I think we have a good group. We're young. We're a very young team, and we're excited with the future of the program and the talent that we have in. So it's been fun so far. Everybody's been competing. They know all 5 spots are up for grabs right now. So they're bringing it every day. In the preseason and practice, and they're really trying to separate themselves and trying to earn that starting 5 position.
Who's impressed you most so far this offseason of, if it's a returner who's really took a big step this offseason or, someone you added from the portal or a freshman, who's impressed you the most?
Well, we have a couple of key returners for us. Demani Lagway, who's a junior this year, and Eva Livingston, who was on the all-freshman team. She's now a sophomore, and I think those two have really grown from last season, especially Eva. She's just really grown, off the court, maturing and really stepping up in all areas. And it's translated to more confidence and just a better work ethic and kind of a leadership role, to tell you, on the court. And Demani as well, she kind of understands, hey, she's kind of one of the elder statesmen returning as a junior. And, she's been through the battle. She's been to the Big West Conference in games, and she knows what to expect. So she's been really good just kind of sharing her experience and information to our young players and our newcomers as well. So they've been very pleasant surprises, not necessarily surprises, but something that we've expected from them. But they've been really good kind of taking the lead with our program. And we've got a transfer in Leah Stanton from UTEP, who has really impressed me a lot, during this time that we've had her. She can do so many things, and I think she's going to do really well in this conference and for us in our system. And we got some freshmen who I think, will have another chance to maybe get some postseason awards at the end of the year. But just a couple freshmen who I think were under-recruited, and we feel like they're going to fit in really well to what we do. And they've been showing signs of being able to compete right away at this level immediately. So I'm really excited about that.
So, Jeff, you talk about the transfer portal, and you mentioned Stanton. You've been doing this a long time. You're a guy that's, about basketball, and you're in your 8th season here at Cal State Fullerton. And I'm just wondering, with the new college landscape and the transfer portal, what do you do going in, losing all 5 starters and knowing that? How do you approach the portal to get the right player that fits the right mix and also that you feel will be an asset to what will be a young team with a lot of freshmen?
Yeah, I mean, the portal has obviously changed a lot. It changed the game. It changes everything. I've said it before. It's hard nowadays to really build a program because you don't know what your team is going to look like year in and year out. And for us, we lost obviously all 5 starters to graduation. One of them transferred, and so when we enter the portal and we look for players, we want to find the right fit. Right? We want to find the ones who we know are going to come in and be able to play right away, number one, but also fit into what we do. With the new rules in place with the NCAA, when you take transfers, right, you have to keep them, and with the scholarship stuff. But I won't get into that. But it's more of, we want to make sure that these players will fit into our culture, to what we believe in, our system, and be able to play for us and be productive for us. We don't want to take transfers who are just going to come in and not play much just to fill a roster and take up a spot. So, we're looking for just players who are hungry. With Dalia, she's originally from California, wanted a chance to come home to play in front of her family, had a really great freshman year at UTEP. And, again, she's come in and she's shown what she can do, and she's embraced, what we do. And, her teammates have really grown with her, accepted her, and and she's just been playing really, really well with what we do. And I'm just really excited for her and what she can do for us in the Big West.
With Aaliyah and with some of these freshmen and even some of the younger returners who are going to have to, take bigger steps up, this is a team that's going to look a lot different than what we saw last year, right? So what can we expect to see on the court? What would you say is the biggest strength at this very moment? I know the season doesn't start for another 3 weeks, but what would you say right now?
Yeah, we've been talking about it as a staff, and I mean, we're young, we're a little undersized. We had a couple post players who never made it to school this year, so it kind of put us in a bind. And so, again, I think we're smaller than we would like to be, but we're a lot faster, than we have been in the past. So we're going to play fast. We kind of tweaked our offense now to take advantage of our speed and quickness. And so you're going to see a lot of movement from us, whether it's scoring in transition, getting downhill in the half court, and to take advantage of just the speed that we have with our guards. I think we have dynamic guard play. I think that's been a strength of our program, for a long time now, is the strength of our guards. And with the ones we have now, we really like what they can do, and we're excited about that. So we're definitely going to be a more up-tempo than we have been in the past. I'm not saying we're going to run and gun and try to get 100 every night, but we're definitely going to move the ball, get up and down the floor a lot, and look to attack the rim as much as we can.
Let's talk a little bit about scout when you go up against teams, Coach, that might have some height, and that is not something that you may have a lot of, but how are you going to scout for that? You just talked about the pace. You talked about running. If they can't catch you, they can't guard you.
Oh, absolutely. And, I always believe this in my heart. Bigger doesn't always mean better, right? It goes with the saying, it's not the size of the dog in the fight, it's the size of the fight in the dog. And, we have players that have a lot of fight in them. And, a lot of times when you're a little undersized, you have this chip on your shoulder. You grow up with this chip on your shoulder. And, some of our players who are smaller, they've been that size their whole life, right? And so they're used to that. It's nothing new to them. They've learned how to be effective and how to be productive at that size. So, trying to neutralize that height advantage, in our favor, obviously is going to be able to move up and down the floor, to get up and down. But on the flip side, bigger players have to guard us as well. So that's why we feel like, I feel like the speed that we have could be an advantage for us. And so, definitely excited to see that. But, we do have a little bit of size. In Aichel Hernandez returning in the post, she's 6'2". We have some other players who can step up. But we're definitely going to be mixing up our defenses, in the post to kind of help her out, and whether it's double teaming at times or digging in the post and whatnot. But we'll definitely have a game plan. But again, we feel confident that, despite our size, like I said, teams still have to adjust to us and the speed that we're going to bring.
I got one more for you, and it's a fun one. If I put you in charge today, I don't know what position I'm putting you in, but I'm putting you in charge of, what goes on in women's basketball, and you've been coached in women's basketball since 2007. So what is the first change that you would make? It can be anything.
That's a great question. The first change that I would make, is that like a rules change or anything?
Yeah, I was thinking rules, but if you got something else on your mind, feel free.
Oh, what's a change that I would make a 4-point line, tell you the truth.
Okay,
I like to see a 4-point line. I think traditionally women's basketball, we have played below the rim. Nowadays with the superior athletes that we have, they are starting to play at the rim or above the rim now. But I think to take advantage of, the shooting that we have, on the women's side, if we can get another line a couple feet behind and have a 4-point line, I think that would make the game a lot more interesting.
I love it. I think I'm gonna take that up to the top now. You gave me the idea. I'm gonna bring it to the higher ups. We're gonna make it happen now. It was great
how many
having.
times do you see shooters, right, shoot 2-3 feet behind the three line? It's like, well, let's give them 4 if they're deeper. So.
I completely agree with you there. I love it. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. I had a great time talking through your team, and I'm excited to watch you this season. So thanks so much, Coach.
Absolutely. We appreciate it. And Tammy, you keep fighting. Tammy, tough like Tammy. We really support you. We believe in it, and we love you. So
All right, let's bring him in. Cal State Fullerton head coach Dedrique Taylor, who I've known forever, man. Yeah, you are a little grayer. You're definitely a little grayer, and you didn't wear those glasses when we first met. So your eyes aren't as good, and you got a little more gray hair, but you still look good, my man. How you doing?
I appreciate it. That is the consequence of lifing. I have no hair.
Hey, listen, look at this. I got gray.
Oh, you guys keep
I got my daughter yelling at me that I got, a bald spot going in the middle. So listen, there's nothing you can do about it. You just, when we get old like us,
gray hair.
Yeah, whatever. It is what it is.
He's been talking about gray hair for every coach.
I know. It's very true. Very true.
I'm the only one here without gray
season. Hair. You've taken your team to 2 NCAA tourneys in 2018 and 2022. Last year, probably not what you wanted, not what you signed up for, but this is kind of the new world of college basketball in a way. Like, how difficult is it to have consistency and continuity these days?
I think you liken it to the process of speed dating. You literally are trying to hurry up and get to know one another, your players, and you're hoping that your players hurry up and get to learn your concepts. They get to know your concepts so that in very short order they can execute them. And yes, that's a tough, tall ask, but it's the lay of the land, and it's been done, and it's being done across the country. And those people that are having success, I think they find a way to get that done and get that figured out a lot quickly than the rest of us.
Dedrique, what I was trying to say earlier is the way that you avoid gray hair is you get out of coaching like I did. You see no grays right now, and so
I would love that.
Unfortunately,
I actually would love that.
But, I mean, well, you're pretty good at gelling new groups, man. You've lost some heavy hitters, a couple all-conference players from last year, as well as a defensive player of the year, I believe, at least over sometime in the last couple of years in Torrey, San Antonio. You got a lot of new faces, one starter coming back. How do you continue to do this year after year? Because a lot of years, Jeff mentioned it, you've been to that Big West title game several times in the last 6 years. How do you keep gelling these new groups together?
It takes time, which is not on our side, but we traditionally get off to a rough start. A, because of who we're playing, but B, because we're all new. We're all trying to figure each other out. And somehow, some way, we begin to gel at the right point in the season, and we begin to play together, and we're fresh, and we just put it all together at the right time. And it's obviously, as you know, it's good to be playing your best basketball at the end of the season and on into the conference tournament. And we've been fortunate to be able to figure that thing out and do that. And I'm hoping that this year will be the same.
Yeah, I mean, you add 8 new guys, 5 transfers, but I think you've done it the right way, which is, okay, I'm going to go get some D1 transfers. I'm going to go get a JUCO kid. I'm going to get maybe a D2 or D3 kid. And you have to be adaptable to looking at, international kid, whatever it is. You can't close yourself off. You've got to kind of keep yourself open to every avenue to being able to improve the team and do it quickly. Give me one of these guys, Dedrique, who has completely stood out of the newcomers that we're going to be looking at and say, wow, like, where did he come from?
Yeah, I think there's 3 of them, but I would say probably a guy like Zion, who started off at a Division I and then got injured and lost his coach, and then he ends up at a Division II. I think his talent allows him to be at the Division I level. His size allows him to be at the Division I level. And I think most importantly for us, we get him on the tail end of that, which is with a lot of experience. And so he's a skill guy that can handle, that can shoot. And again, his size, I think, is nothing to shake a stick at. And hopefully that's our advantage, is his size. But he's one that I think I would earmark to do something super special for us this year.
So, Dedrique, I believe the program has had 11 straight years with an all-conference player. I believe in your time there, which I think this is year 12 for you, I believe. 36 pros since you've been there.
Yeah.
And Jackson Rose with the Golden State Warriors, I believe. Do you feel like Cal State Fullerton basketball gets the respect it deserves for all these accomplishments?
That's a heck of a question. I think I think it's par for the course. They always pick us last. They never count on us to do anything. And all I can say is the proof's in the pudding. You know, we have some brilliant coaches in the Big West, and I think they've proved their brilliancy again by picking us last, which is no secret around here, and it's just par for the course. It's that's become our rallying cry almost, and it really has nothing to do with what happens in March. It's an opportunity for us to come together and really understand what we're trying to do. And at the end of the day, we're just trying to play good basketball. We're trying to understand how to play together, which I think is really important, especially in this league. But we're trying to play a brand of basketball that will allow guys to showcase their talent, showcase their skill. And I think the proof's in the pudding with having 11 all-league or 11 years in a row of an all-league guy on the staff, and that's, or not on the staff, on the league, on the team. And that's really important, to be able to say we've been in 4 out of the last 6 years conference games, conference tournament games, championship games. I think that's important to be able to say we've had 36 pros, or we've been a part of producing 36 pros. I think that's important. But that's in the past. It has nothing to do with tomorrow. And so we have to go out and define ourselves day by day once again, but expect everybody else to not give us anything.
You guys are feared by opposing teams by the way you guys attack. Are we going to continue to see, especially with a whole new group, essentially, the staple offense we always do, where you're spreading the floor 4 around 1, attacking downhill and getting opposing defenses in foul trouble?
Yeah, I think, as crazy as it sounds, man, as much as I would like to play that way, we're going to be uncommon. We're going to have to play things a little bit different, because our guards are not, they're not what we're used to having in terms of allowing space and allowing them to get downhill and attack. We're going to attack a different way and utilize our size. I mean, our smallest guy at one point in time, we could be on the floor with the smallest guy being 6'4" and the tallest guy being 6'11", maybe 7 feet. And so being able to take advantage of that and what that provides us, the advantage that it does provide us is we got size across the board. And I think it's a little bit different in terms of not maybe being as athletic as we were, but I think being physical and being tough, and almost playing a level of smash mouth basketball is going to be our new identity. And that's how we're going to have to move forward and execute that system for us to take advantage of the skill set that we have in our toolkit.
Can't wait.
Dedrique Taylor, always good seeing you, man. Always good.
Mm-hmm.
And listen, we've known each other a long time, and love seeing you on the road, and we gotta go out for a drink or a meal at some point soon. All right, it's been
Definitely.
Too long.
Look forward to it. We'll just charge it to Richie.
That's right, exactly. Charge it to Herb. Why don't we charge it to Herb?
You know the answer to that. He ain't paying for a piece of gum.
Love you, man. We'll talk soon. Dedrique
All
Taylor,
right, thanks,
Cal
guys.
State
Talk to you
Fullerton
soon.
head coach.
See you.